Right, I hope you are ready. We are continuing with our revision. Macbeth, Act 1, Scene 4. Duncan and his sons, as well as Lennox and others, are in Duncan's palace, forest. Malcolm tells Duncan that he had news that Cawdor was executed. Cawdor did 3 things before his execution. 1, confessing his treason. 2, begging Duncan's pardon. And 3, repenting, saying that he was sorry for what he did. Duncan states that it is impossible to tell what a man is like by looking at his face. There's no art to find the mind's construction in the face. Duncan states that he trusted Cawdor absolutely. We know he cannot trust the new Thane of Cawdor, Macbeth, either. Now remember, this is dramatic irony. Dramatic irony is when the audience knows something that the character does not know at this stage. Macbeth, Banquo, Ross and Angus enter. The king says he cannot repay Macbeth for what he did in the battles. And Macbeth responds, "Oh, it was only my duty, and you should accept my duty. That is what your duty is, to accept my duty and my sacrifices." Duncan says he will continue to advance Macbeth after already promoting him to Thane of Cawdor. He then turns to Banquo, says he deserves no less than Macbeth. He gives him a hug. Duncan then makes 3 important announcements. First of all, his son, Malcolm, will be successor to the throne and is made Prince of Cumberland. Now remember, in Macbeth's time, the Scottish throne was not hereditary. It didn't go automatically to the king's son, although it was likely. So now he announces that it is indeed going to be Malcolm. Everyone who deserves to be rewarded will be rewarded. So he's going to consider the whole scene of the battles, and he will make a decision there. He will spend the night at Inverness, which is Macbeth's castle, and this is a great honour to Macbeth. Macbeth thanks Duncan for the honour and asks to be excused to prepare his wife for the visit. He wants to inform her, in other words. In an aside, Macbeth declares he will have to overcome the obstacle of Malcolm, or he will fall down. It is like he's walking on a road, and there in his way is a huge rock. So that's an obstacle. And he says, that is a step on which I must fall down, or else overleap, for in my way it lies. Macbeth now says that he wants light to be hidden. Stars, hide your fires, so that his black and deep desires to be king will not be seen. His eye must wink close, so that he can do the deed. Duncan and Banquo must have been in dialogue, because now when Macbeth leaves the stage, he exits. Duncan, in response to a comment by Banquo, continues to praise Macbeth. They then set off after Macbeth. His final comment: Macbeth is a peerless kinsman. Peerless, without equal. Peer, equal, peerless, without equal. And a kinsman, please remember, it's kin, K-I-N, kinsman. And that is a member of the family. you're all now locked up with your king's men. Again, we have dramatic irony. Macbeth is indeed like no other family member. Act 1, Scene 4, done and dusted. Then, Act 1, Scene 5. Now, we skip to another part of the setup. And this is now in Macbeth's castle in Inverness. We meet Lady Macbeth. She is standing in a room and she's reading a letter. She seems to be midway through this letter, which she received from Macbeth, and it seems as though he must have written this after hearing that he is now Thane of Cawdor, before arriving at the king's castle. This is what the letter states. The witches met him on the day of the victory, which we know is the truth. They greeted him as Thane of Cawdor and king that shall be. He had evidence that they knew more than humans. We'll come back to that. He wanted to know more, but then they just vanished. The king's messengers came in and announced that he gained the title Thane of Cawdor. This is now his proof of the truth of the witch's prophecy. He says that he's telling others so that she knows about the greatness awaiting her and that she can be glad. So far then, her reading Macbeth's letter. Her reaction is rather extraordinary. First of all, she speaks in a soliloquy. Now remember the definition of a soliloquy? The actor is alone on stage and he voices his or her thoughts for the benefit of the audience to know what it is that he's thinking. In that manner, it is similar to the aside. Sorry, it's not a dry cough. She says he is going to be king, but he does not have the cruelty, the milk of human kindness is to create in him, to take the nearest way. What's the nearest way? To kill the king. He has ambition, but not the evil character that should go along with it. Again, dramatic irony, because we know different. She also uses apostrophe, just like Macbeth did in the previous scene when he spoke to the stars to hide their fires. In other words, that their light must disappear. And remember, light is a symbol of goodness and darkness is a symbol of evil, corruption. Apostrophe is addressing a person who is not present or an inanimate object. It's like me speaking to my computer when it doesn't do what I want it to do. She wants Macbeth to hurry home so that she can pour her spirits into his ear and get everything out of him that will stop him from becoming king. From becoming king, she says, she refers to the golden round, which is the crown. Remember, this is metonymy, a change of name. Golden round, substituting the crown. A messenger then arrives and he tells her the king is approaching. It is great news because now the king is delivered into her hands. In another soliloquy, in which he uses apostrophe again, Lady Macbeth speaks first to the spirits that attend to the thoughts of murder. And this is what they have to do. They must take away her womanly nature supposedly she's to be kind and caring because that's what they thought, but all women were like. They must fill her with cruelty from the top to the toe, and they must make her blood thick. No pity must flow, so that she must not feel sorry for Duncan. And they must take her mother's milk, the symbol of nurturing, caring for a baby, and change it to gall, which is absolutely bitter. Now she speaks to Night. Night must make darkness so thick that the knife she's holding will not see the wound she makes, and heaven will not be able to see what she does and stop her. Macbeth enters and tells her Duncan is coming. On hearing that Duncan wants to leave the next day, she states that the sun will not see Duncan's next day. He will not be able to leave the next day as he intends to do. Immediately, she turns on Macbeth and she starts scolding him that he is showing his emotions and may then reveal their purpose. He must look like the innocent flower, but be the serpent under it. The theme here, remember, very important, one of the themes that recur in the play, appearance versus reality. Macbeth is not yet settled on this course of action, but she says, only look up clear. He must leave everything to her. She will take care of this. Right. Act 1, Scene 6. Now, King Duncan, his sons, Banquo, and others are approaching the castle. Duncan looks at the castle. He thinks it's a beautiful and soothing place. It has a pleasant sea. The air gently and sweetly recommends itself unto my gentle senses. Banquo sees that he sees the swallows flying around him, and he says that these swallows are always seen in holy places. So they create the idea that they have of Macbeth's castle being almost holy, pure. So dramatic irony as well as the theme of appearance versus reality. Lady Macbeth greets them outside. Once more, the great show of gratitude from King Duncan, and a great show from her, stating how great an honor it is to serve him, to take trouble to prepare for his arrival. Once more, Duncan promises to give Macbeth more rewards. Right, so far, revision then. Next lesson, we'll start with a discussion of Act 1, Scene 7. May you have a wonderful day today.